a crucial error that many science fiction writers make that you must avoid. A lot of science fiction writers create a story world, a futuristic world, that is so weird that there is no one-to-one connection between this created world and the world we actually live in. The result is that there is no emotional connection between the audience and the world they're seeing. And that is a big mistake. Remember, science fiction is not about predicting the future. This is the most common mistake that writers make about the science fiction form. Nobody cares if you can actually predict what the world is going to be like in the year 2500. We're all going to be dead by then. Remember when we came to 1984, you know, and with Time Magazine, all, was he right or was he wrong? He wasn't predicting what the world was going to be like in 1984. That book came out in the year 1948. He flipped the numbers. That's all. He was predicting, he was commenting on the present world. And that's what you've got to keep in mind always when you're doing science fiction. You are writing a story about today. You are showing the audience today's world through different glasses.
What's the movie 2012 doing? Is that not showing a prediction of what happened to man and all of society?
I haven't seen the year 2012, but my guess is that, no, it's not trying to predict that at all. It's a disaster film. Disaster film is a form of action story, which we're going to talk about in a little while. It's a total, so you're going for a totally different thing. Now, this leads to the first technique I want to talk about in science fiction. It is essential that you create a recognizable science fiction world for your viewer, so the viewer doesn't have this clinical, intellectual relationship to your story. Oh, well, that's interesting. Yeah, look how people eat there, and look how, you know, there's transportation. Look how people talk funny. No, your first job as a writer is to make an emotional impact on your audience, which is why you want a recognizable world. It's different, just different enough for the audience to say, yeah, that's a science fiction world. But we want them to be able to recognize under the surface what we're talking about right now. Second important technique is make technology important to the characters and plot of the story. It should be deeply woven within the story fabric. Because science fiction puts tremendous emphasis on the crucial technology of a particular place and time. And it emphasizes how that technology changes mankind himself. For example, in Blade Runner, who is most human? The human beings or the robots? Science fiction emphasizes 3 structure steps. What do you think they are? Story world, absolutely.
Self-revelation.
A good bet, and you are correct. What's the third one?
You could do it.
No, that's never the answer. The opponent. Very important which opponent you create, because ultimately the story is about different visions of a good life, a good society. And so that opponent should, on the deepest level, represent a different vision for how that society should be.